We have made it to week 14 and we are done with our textbook. We've read it from cover to cover, but if you take a closer look at that cover, you'll see that it's actually a study guide for the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. In fact, the entire course maps to this certification exam, which raises an excellent question. What is a certification? What is a cert? Defined broadly, a certification is a credential issued by somebody that certifies that a person has reached a certain level of proficiency or knowledge about something. That definition was purposely vague because certification is not limited just to our career field. Lots of career fields, lots of industries make use of certifications. They just tend to be very prominent within the IT and cybersecurity fields. So let's go ahead and take a look at that definition again and narrow it down to something more specific to us. The someone that issues the credential is usually either a technology vendor, such as Amazon Web Services, Cisco, VMware, or a vendor-neutral trade organization, such as CompTIA, the Computer Technology Industry Association. They're the ones that issue the Network Plus exam, the one that our book maps to. The thing that a person is being certified on is going to be a level of technical knowledge about something. So if it's vendor specific, it's about their products. Sometimes it'll cover an entire product. Other times it'll just be about a specific aspect of a product. Or it could just cover a broad range of technology, such as with the Network Plus exam. Now, certifications are not all created equal. They come in different layers, different tiers. The first tier is the entry level, and most CompTIA certifications fall under this tier. These are meant to give new people to the field a foothold in the industry. Generally, the first certifications a person gets are at the entry level. Above that, we have the associate and professional level certifications. This is where we tend to see most working IT professionals after a couple years of experience. Above that, we have our expert and architect level certifications. These are generally people with quite a few years experience in their given field, and they've invested an extensive amount of time, effort, and thousands of dollars to achieve these certifications. Now, sooner rather than later, you'll probably enter a discussion with other IT people or IT managers about the value of certifications. Some people swear by them, saying that the act of going through and studying for these certs, especially the higher level ones, gives them a broad degree of knowledge they otherwise wouldn't have been exposed to, and in turn makes them a more well-rounded IT professional. Others feel that they're worthless. It's just a piece of paper that doesn't translate to actual ability. I'm not going to try to convince you one way or another. Honestly, that discussion happened 20 years ago. And nowadays, I avoid it like the plague. The reason why? Because it's like discussing what's better, a Ford or a Chevy, to a car enthusiast. You're not going to convince anybody, but one thing that is indisputable is that certifications are part of the IT landscape, and thus we can't ignore them. Many, if not most, IT positions do require some level of certification. It all depends on the position itself. If you are working for the government, especially the federal government or the military, you're required to have a Security Plus certification coming in the door, and then you're supposed to be certified on whatever systems you are working on. Other times, consulting firms require them for marketing reasons. So when they market a consultant to a potential customer, they can list a line of alphabet soup, if you will, their certifications demonstrating their proficiency in the area they're trying to get them hired to work in. Let's take a closer look at the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This is the CompTIA entry-level network certification, and which usually precedes the more advanced certifications such as the Cisco certs. All certifications have what are known as a list of objectives. And if we look at the Network Plus certifications objectives, they break it out into 5 different areas: networking concepts, infrastructure, network operations, network security, troubleshooting. And then within each of those areas, they break out exactly what you could be tested on. They don't give you the test questions per se, but they do tell you on what you're going to be tested on. The Network Plus is a computer-based exam, and we're currently at version N10007. We can see it has up to a maximum of 90 questions. That doesn't mean it will be 90 questions. It just means they'll be up to that many. And you have 90 minutes to take the test. Most cert exams are timed and have a hard time limit. The type of questions? Multiple choice, drag and drop, and performance-based, which is some type of simulator. How do you know if you passed the test? Network Plus requires a passing score of 720 on a scale of 100 to 900. Now, they don't tell us what it takes to get to be a 720. This is really just listed as an arbitrary number that tells us when you got to pass the test or where you're not. And of course, the exam's not free. This current version of Network Plus costs $329 per take. And you pay this whether you pass the exam or you fail it. Hence, studying for the exam makes a lot of sense. You just don't want to keep taking the test over and over and over again, hoping you eventually pass it. That's going to get expensive very quickly. Of course, studying isn't free either. So if we look at the other CompTIA offerings, the price increases with the added features. So an exam retake, which allows you to fail at one time and take it again for the same cost, along with an official study guide, costs $449. You add a practice exam for that, that raises the price up to $600. You want to take an actual training class with that, that sends the price up to almost $850. Certification is not an inexpensive proposition, but it's necessary for our line of work if we want to make ourselves marketable. And I personally believe that it does help us become more well-rounded IT professionals.